Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fun Fold Friday. I'm Dorene Decibus, and I'm from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and I'm here to show you another fun fold. This is another easy fold to do, but it's a great fold. I love having interesting elements on my cards, and I'm looking forward to showing you this one. So let's see, today's the 10th, so we have 18 days left of celebration. So I want to share some celebration products with you tonight. They are both from the $50 level. So these are items that you can get with a $50 purchase for free. And so free is always awesome. So the first set that I'm using tonight is a cling stamp set. It is titled Sending Support, and it is just a sentiment stamp set that has some great sentiments. So let me read some of them to you so that if you can't see them. Some days are harder than others. Sending loving thoughts and prayers. Hope today is one of the easier ones. There are so many ways you might feel right now. Alone shouldn't be one of them. Here for you always. Good luck. It's okay to not feel okay. You've got this. My shoulder is yours. And courage is being really scared and doing it anyway. So this is one of the celebration stamp sets. Like I said, if you spend $50, you can get this one free. The second celebration product I'm using is this beautiful designer series paper. It is the Favored Flowers designer series paper. The colors that go with this designer series paper is Basic Black, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, Mossy Meadow, and Petal Pink. So it has a really nice palette. And let me just show you the different pieces, different designs that are found in this designer series paper. We're going to be using two of them tonight. So this is the first one, just some beautiful floral images. The back side has a mossy green finish that has some lines going through it. Just bring that up so that you can see that. The second sheet has just those beautiful colors, the Petal Pink, the Calypso Coral, the beautiful rich, was it eggplant or rich raspberry? Let me look right back and see. It is the Blackberry Bliss. So it has the beautiful blackberry, the mellow moss, there's the black in it. Just a gorgeous piece of paper. The back side is a Petal Pink, and again, it does have a design to it. Let you get a closer view of that. The next piece is just all of the Blackberry Bliss and Mossy Meadow cardstock, just in color, just beautiful. And on the back, we have the beautiful Blackberry Bliss, and again, it has a design with the Blackberry Bliss. Very pretty. This one has more of the basic black. This would be a great one if you wanted to cut out some flowers, so that this one would be great for that, also for a background. And the back is another solid design. There you can see the different colors. This one is another one that would be great to use as a background or to cut the flowers out. And the background has the Fresh Freesia. So every single color has a background paper that coordinates with it. And then this, again, a great background. There's a lot of black. The Calypso Coral and the Evening Evergreen make a great background, or again, you could cut these flowers out. And then this is the other side that we're using, is the Calypso Coral background. So those are the two products. Again, you can get them with a $50 order. So I do have the dimensions for the Fun Fold right here. You can zoom in, take a screenshot, but I will be putting them in the comments under this post on Facebook, and I will also be posting the video on YouTube on my channel. It Begins with Ink and Paper, and I will post the dimensions for the cardstock there as well. So the two stamps that I'm using tonight are the Courage one and You've Got This, so those go together nicely. I am also going to be using the gingham ribbon, and it is the black and white gingham ribbon. I love using this on lots of different projects, so that will be in use tonight. I am also using the iridescent pearls. I just love these. And I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle that they get, but they are really, really pretty. So that is something else that I'm going to be using. And for cardstock, I am going to be using Petal Pink as my base. And I have already scored this at 5.5, and I will show you what we're going to do with that in just a minute. I also need a piece of Petal Pink that is 3 1/4 by 4 inches, so put that aside. And I'm going to need a piece of Petal Pink that's 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Then for this pattern of designer series paper, you will need a piece, or any designer series paper you're using, any color cardstock you're using, you are going to need a piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So that's that piece there. You are also going to need a piece of that same designer series paper that is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. And then finally, you're going to need a piece that is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, the same size as that Petal Pink. You are also going to need a piece that is 3 by 3 3/4 inches. So this is the separate pattern, but it goes nicely with the colors that I've selected. You are also going to need a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then a scrap to cut out a tag, and this is the tag that I cut out using the oval punches. So this is the scalloped edge piece, which is the larger punch, and then I use down here, I didn't use the smaller punch for that. So those are the supplies I'm using tonight. So let's get started on this. So let's get our stamping out of the way, because I'm just stamping 2 greetings, and then I'll show you how to make the card. Oh, I didn't show you the card that we're making. So I'm sorry about that. So this is a corner tuck fold. So you can see how I've put this together. We have a corner up here that is elevated so it can tuck the card in. And then when you open it up, you can see inside the greeting, and there's a place for you to write your message. So let me just set this aside, and we'll start that stamping. And I also have 2 other samples to show you. So I've got lots of examples that you can see tonight. So I'm using for ink the Memento Black Tuxedo ink. And I'm going to start by stamping the Courage. Now, I always stamp on my paper to see, do I need to adjust it? I don't always get the stamps on my block 100% straight. So I just want to make sure I get it straight on my label. So there we go. Courage is being really scared and doing it anyway. I really like this stamp. And then I am going to stamp in the lower corner in the Momentum Black ink again, the stamp that says You Got This. So let's put this down. There we go. Put those aside, put the ink away, and let's start making this card. So I'm just going to move my papers over here, and I'm going to grab them as I need them. So the first thing that I am going to do is to take this piece of 4 1/4 by 11, and I am going to take one side, it doesn't matter which side, because it's going to end up being the front of the card, and I'm going to cut 3 inches off. So I am left with 2 1/2 inches to the center fold. So this is cardstock that I can use later, and we'll put the paper cutter away. So I'm going to fold this, and I am going to use my bone folder to give a nice crease. Okay, so now let's start putting on some of this designer series paper. So this piece of designer series paper is actually going to go right here on the front left side of the card. So I'm going to use some adhesive, and I am going to attach that. So I'm just using the Stampin' seal, putting a little bit on the back, and then I will add this to the front. I'm going to take the larger piece of this designer series paper, and I'm going to be placing it inside the card. So this is actually going to be the background of my card, and you're going to be able to see this from when you open up the card, and even when it's closed. So I've put that there, and so now I have a card front that looks like this with this area right here. So this piece here, my larger piece, is going to get this piece of designer series paper added to the front. And let me just make sure my video is still working. All right. So let me just make one quick adjustment. There we go. So I'm going to just use my adhesive and add it to this front piece. And I'm just going to set this aside because I'll decide, do I want it this? I can decide how I want it to go on the front. Okay, so now to create the corner. I want, since this is a pretty strong piece of designer series paper, but I do want to put a backing on it so that it's even stronger, since we're going to be slipping a piece of the card under it. So I am going to add some adhesive, and I really want this to stick in place, so I've added some extra adhesive, and this is going to fit right on the front of this piece of cardstock. There we go. Now I need to cut it. Nice thing about this, one square is going to make 2 cards. So I'm going to line this on the diagonal, line this up on the diagonal, and I'm going to cut it in half on the diagonal. So there we go. So now I have 2 pieces that I can use on 2 different cards. I'm going to put one aside. And now what I'm going to do is put this on my card. Now, I can make a decision here. I can cover the pink, or I can cover it right here on the designer series paper. On this one, I covered up the pink. So I think on this one, I'm not going to cover up the pink. And to attach this to the cardstock, I need some dimensionals. I can put just a couple of large dimensionals, or I can use some mini dimensionals and have them go along the edge. All I need from the dimensionals, besides adhering this to the front of the card, I need it to raise the image up. That's why the piece of cardstock up. That's why I'm not using the just regular adhesive or glue dots. I need this raised a bit so the piece of the cardstock will fit in. So I'm going to just remove these little, because I'm using the minis here. There we go. And for this one, like I said, I am going to match this corner up with the corner of the designer series paper. There we go. So kind of when you do it this way, it blends into the background more. So something I just wanted to mention. So what we're going to do, this piece is going to go right here, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that in just a minute. First, though, I want to put this piece in the center of my cardstock. Now, you might choose to make this in different dimensions. So you might want a smaller tag. I'm going to show you some examples with some smaller tags, or you might want to make it exactly the way I make it. But what you want to make sure is when you put your piece of cardstock inside the card, you want it to be covered up. So you want to make sure you put it in so that that happens. So here we go. I'm going to add some adhesive to this. And as I put this on, I'm going to kind of center it. It's going to go under my my little corner piece here. I'm going to attach that. Now, when I attach this to the side, I want to make sure that I'm only putting adhesive on this part of the cardstock. So I'm going to take that side right now, and I'm going to add some adhesive. Since it's going to be the front flap to my card, I am going to put quite a bit of adhesive down. And I am going to center this onto my card. There we go. This piece will fit right under. See how nice it slides in? So I'm going to keep it open for right now so that I can add the rest of my card front. So I'm going to use my Courage. I'm going to put just adhesive on the back of this. I'm not going to raise this piece. And I'm going to place it right here in the lower right-hand corner. And then I'm going to take my gingham ribbon and make a bow. So let me do that right now. I like to make my bows. If you're someone who watches me every Friday night, you've probably seen me do it this way. But I make my bows right on. I don't cut ribbon off because that way I'm able to use most of my ribbon and not waste. So I think that's a pretty good size. So now when I trim, my only waste is that little piece right there, because this piece, as I trim it, is still stuck to the roll. So, just a tiny, tiny bit of waste, which makes me happy. So I'm going to use a glue dot to attach this to the front of the card. And we are almost done. And then I have some other samples to show you. There we go. And I'm going to arrange this right over the, right by the label here. And the black just kind of picks up the black from the inside of the card. So this is what the card looks like opened. And this is what it looks like closed. And then this is what it looks like when the corner is tucked into the corner fold. So this is a corner tuck fold. The last thing I need to do is add my bling. So I've got some beautiful iridescent pearls here that I'm going to use. I think the white just looks really sharp. I'm going to start with a larger pearl, and I'm going to put that down in the bottom corner here. And then I'm going to take two smaller pearls and put them up here on the fold. I do like to take my embellishments and make it look like it's, that I put them in a triangle. And let me just get this one that's just jumping all over the place. So there is our finished card. It's great. Such an easy card to make, but just gives it that little bit of extra interest by adding the corner. So let's look at some other samples. So this is the first one I made, and this one, the only difference, if I put them on top of each other, is that you can still see the Petal Pink cardstock here, where this one covers the Petal Pink there. So not much of a difference at all. My next card uses the really cute celebration set called Adorable Owls. This is just the cutest little set. It is also a $50 set. This is a super simple design. You can see that I use the similar embellishment. I have my little owl here. I did the same thing. I added a full thing of designer series paper to this side, and I have my corner right up to the corner, and then I have a place that I can put my greeting or I can write a message. This one is even simpler than the one I just made. So a very easy, cute card. And then this one here, I, again, did similar. I have the designer series paper doubled up again. I have here just a small piece of designer series paper, and I chose to use some ribbon over it. I've stamped, this is from the set I was using last week, the Country Bouquet. So I stamped the beautiful heart. It's a 2-step stamp, so that's how I got the mint macaron and the Petal Pink. And when you open it up, I have a message on the inside. I love that we are friends. And I have another piece of designer series paper in here covering the background. So these are the 3 samples I have for you tonight. And I hope you've enjoyed this fun fold. I will be back next Friday with another fun fold. And until then, I hope you have a fabulous week. Enjoy the weather this weekend. What a difference a week makes. It is, today it got about 60, 70 degrees warmer than it was last Friday. And it didn't even get up to 50, to just the difference a week makes. And please check out my Facebook page. Please like it, share the video. Those things help my small business. And please check out my my YouTube channel as well. It Begins with Ink and Paper. Have a great evening, everyone, and great weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.